I'm Michael Atkins, Executive Director of the Atlantic City Arts Foundation, and you're watching South Jersey Business with Joe Molineaux.
Welcome to South Jersey Business with Joe Molineaux. Thank you for joining us as we share information, tips, and techniques that can make our business community and your business more successful. Thank you to Stockton University for the opportunity to produce this show focusing on business in South Jersey. In just a moment, we will talk with Michael Atkins, Executive Director of the Atlantic City Arts Foundation. I'm getting to know Michael, but I am a huge fan of everything that the Arts Foundation does in Atlantic City and for the overall region. Let's get right down to business with today's featured guest, Michael Atkins, Executive Director of the Atlantic City Arts Foundation. Michael, thanks for joining us.
Joe, thanks for having me on today.
So maybe we could jump right into it. Tell us what the Atlantic City Arts Foundation does.
Happy to do so. The Atlantic City Arts Foundation has been around for about 10 years. It's primarily responsible for the commission of public arts in Atlantic City. We currently have commissioned 102 murals in the city. We celebrated our 100th mural in fall of last year, and we just installed the 102nd the last month. So that's a key area of which people know of our work. If you're driving through the city as a visitor or a local resident, you're riding your bike, we have tried to beautify and invite arts and creativity into the city as a means of transforming the city as well. We're also known for a handful of signature programs. Arteriors is a really popular program of ours where we take over a vacant commercial space and bring in 20 artists or so to reimagine what that space can be, and we have a pop-up gallery type of event. So those are two of the big programs we're known for in Atlantic City.
That's great. So how did you get involved? I know you love the arts. We all have passion, right? But how did you get involved as the Executive Director?
Well, I personally believe the arts are for everyone, and everyone has something creative to contribute. I've been working in nonprofits for about 10 years before taking this position last September. Okay. And I worked in a statewide nonprofit in New Jersey that pushes for redevelopment and creative placemaking, and I worked prior at a nonprofit that had a bunch of creative approaches to bringing people together on a river.
And definitely you believe in Atlantic City. I know you're a resident of Atlantic City, which I think is a huge plus.
That's right. I moved back to New Jersey during the pandemic by choice, and I live in Atlantic City by choice, and I'm a proud resident of the Chelsea neighborhood. Yeah,
it's an exciting place, and it's constantly growing and moving and shaking and shaping and doing all those things, and the arts are a big part of that. So some people might be thinking, this is a business show, Joe. Why are you talking about the arts? And I know we talk about it personally of how you run your executive director, you should run the organization like a business, but can you talk about the importance of art when it comes to economic development and what it really means for developing a community and continuing to build a community?
I mean, the arts are a driver of economic activity. You know, I'm sure we'll get into it deeper in the program, but arts and food bring people together. They bring people to Atlantic City. Being a city in South Jersey is a unique advantage to have. And, you know, as city residents, but also at the Arts Foundation, we want to invite people to see Atlantic City in a different mindset. I was reviewing some of this recently, but about 80% of all tourism is cultural, artistic, or historic in nature. So as much as we're known as a gambling community, there's still a huge ceiling there to continue to bring people to our city for non-gaming reasons. And also about 90% of all participants in arts activities report making friendships, forming connections. So yes, we support arts. Yes, we want there to be a strong economy in Atlantic City, but we also want a strong community. And the arts do a fantastic job of advancing the careers of artists and bringing community members together.
You are a really smart guy. I mean, I'm getting to know you, and I've seen you speak, and I see the activity and the vision that you have for the organization. You could be doing anything. What brought you to the nonprofit world? Because there has to be a reason, something that allowed you to say, I want to flourish and help others flourish as a nonprofit leader?
Well, I've always had a deep appreciation for the arts. I had a past career in television and film production, so I always enjoyed that and being creative. And my first job in nonprofits was with a group called Friends of the LA River. This was in Los Angeles when I lived there, and it was formed by a poet who thought of the wild idea to use poetry to bring people to the river and form a constituency for change. So I really believe in the ability for creative approaches to build community, and especially to leapfrog a community forward or a city forward. So, I also like the way that nonprofits and particularly arts are a place that you can be creative and bring your full self to work. We also have a great team. I just want to also shout out our program manager, Tina Nataro, is a great person to work with. And we have a lot of fun day in and day out thinking through strategic approaches to advancing the arts in this community. And that's just, it's a dream job.
We're going to dive into the people that help you drive this organization, including the artists and their support, the board, the people that you work with every day in the next segment. So sit tight, okay? Because we have some more to cover. Thanks. Let's check out how you can connect with South Jersey business through social media. Then we'll be right back with more talk featuring Michael Atkins, Executive Director of the Atlantic City Arts Foundation. We're back with today's featured guest, Michael Atkins, Executive Director of the Atlantic City Arts Foundation. Michael, once again, thank you for being part of the show. Michael, how do you define success?
Well, we define a successful project as one where the artist can be a true artist and contribute their full creativity to the project of public arts, a project that attracts an audience to celebrate that artist and the art itself in perpetuity. And also, I'd like to add to that we have a written record, a visual record. We've done something to make sure that the experience and the creativity and the inspiration that an artist had behind an image is also captured in perpetuity through our media channels, and we send it out and circulate it as often as possible.
Speaking of success, I've attended a number of the Arts Foundation events, and they are wildly successful as far as my measurement goes. I look at the number of people that support it. I look at how long the run is, and sometimes it's hard to measure that because if it's a mural that people walk by, they get joy from it every day, but you still know it's there. You drive past it, you see it. I mentioned some of my favorite ones when I talk to people about the movement that you have going on there. But speaking of the success and these successful events, what goes into determining, how you're going to do the next Arteriors or some of the other events you mentioned, or how frequent do you have these events? What goes into that process?
Well, I'd say there's two key ingredients, which are intentionality and partnerships, right? We want to make sure that we're intentional. What is the subject matter of the mural? Are there groups out there that might find it particularly attractive that are not considered traditional art groups?
Yeah.
If we're doing an event in a given month, an example from the 100th mural, we welcomed back to Atlantic City Manuela Guillen, a Latino artist who grew up in Atlantic City, now lives as a practicing artist in Philadelphia. The event was during Hispanic Heritage Month. We wanted to make sure that this event was open and was promoted in a bilingual manner. And we brought in the winning empanada restaurant from the recent Empanada Fiesta. So we wanted to make sure that the entire experience was something that wasn't narrow, but instead was very open and inclusive. And again, you go far with others and fast alone.
Yeah.
So that's what that's all about. And we've got a few other key projects coming up for 2025 where I have a few great ideas of how we'll get naturalist communities or fishermen communities to also participate in our event and perhaps see art in a new light.
I like it. And the good thing is once you set these events up, you seem to have that formula that you can continue to grow those events. And it's always good to check the website, right? And follow the social media because that's where you're going to promote a lot of these events.
Absolutely.
Correct?
Yeah, and I would want to call out there too, we've also launched a new program where we have a quarterly art mixer. We held our first one in winter of February 2025. Spring's coming up. We'll have one in summer and fall as well. But these are actually events where we invite some artists to vend, a few artists to exhibit. We have messages that we want to put out there and be available as the Arts Foundation to others. But there's still an overall Wednesday evening casual event. Whether you're a student artist or whether you're an established artist, it's a great place to go, particularly if you're looking for other opportunities, collaborators, or again, just other creatives to bounce your stuff off of.
That's great. I wanted to talk to you about the artists. You continue, as a foundation, to attract not just the young and upcoming artists, but as you said, the established artists want to come back and be part of the events. How do you continue to maintain that group of talented people, that cohort of people that support the arts in Atlantic City specifically?
Well, I'll say one thing first, which is, the city website advertises that 27 million visitors come to the city every year. Yeah. So if you are a local artist or if you're far afield, you want to work in Atlantic City because we have an outsized ability to draw eyeballs to your public art. And that's a great advantage for us as the Arts Foundation. One of the things that I'm proud of in my relatively short tenure is focusing on our Artist Insider newsletter and gathering the artists that have worked with us, have applied to past opportunities, have been paid or have volunteered, et cetera, are in a group where we specifically message them opportunities, fellowships, grant opportunities, RFPs, invite them to the mixer, because they have a different set of needs than our standard email list of people who attend and support arts. So we kind of balance those two different pedals of the same vehicle, because it's important that the artists get messages about opportunities and that the public get messages about supporting artists.
Now, this is funny. There was a lot of business talk and a lot of business phrases in that statement that you just made, that answer to that question. So my question now will be, what is the most important business lesson you have learned in not just running this nonprofit, but other nonprofits? Can you share one of the most important business lessons?
I mean, it doesn't feel as business speak, but people are precious. Labor is the most important thing. Pay your vendors on time. Respect your volunteers. Don't send them off to bring you coffees and stuff like that. You know, that when someone's contributing their time or their talents, that's the best thing they could possibly contribute to you, and you got to respect that.
You know, I've asked that question hundreds of times in my career, and that's one of the best answers I've ever had. So thank you so much.
You got it.
Sit tight, because we've got more show coming up.
Thanks.
Up next, we are putting Michael Atkins to the test with the M4 Big Money question right here on South Jersey Business. But first, a quick look at how you can check out past episodes of the show. As you are aware, management, marketing, money, and media are the essential parts of any business. And when you are running an independent nonprofit organization focusing on the arts, you need to know how to mix up all four M's. So it's time for the M4 Big Money question with today's featured guest, Michael Atkins, Executive Director of the Atlantic City Arts Foundation. Michael, are you ready?
I think so. I did a little bit of homework to get ready for this segment.
All right, then let's break them down. Let's talk about your management style. How do you manage?
Well, that was specifically, I did a little bit of Googling to say, like, what are these archetypes? And, but, so within that, I would say that two that seemed appealing were classified as transformative and persuasive, right? I came into nonprofit management by being a communicator, became a communications director because I was a filmmaker and television producer. So you want to get everyone on the team sharing the vision, so when they begin to make their own decisions, you're all contributing to the same endpoint. And maybe that's 80% of it, and 20% is being persuasive to tell folks, this is the right vision, I think that we can go this direction.
I love that combination. That's great. So let's move to the second M, which is marketing. Let's talk about the more traditional forms. You're already in a very visual medium. You know, the arts is very visual. But what traditional forms of marketing do you use to let people know what you're doing and how you're doing and how to be involved with what you're doing?
You know, I take very seriously that I am learning how to be an executive director in this position, and I'm really grateful for the people who extend their mentorship and patience even. But a thing that I have remarked on to my friends is you really get comfortable with your friends at the bank, the post office. You get to print out a lot of business cards. A lot of these old charms still are charming, and you should write thank you notes. You should be involved in people's lives. You should go to meetings, even if it's just to help them fill the room. So I would point towards some of that, which is it's always great, especially when everyone has something to contribute to the arts or say about the arts or has a mural wall they want to recommend. We cast a wide net across the city and want to hear a lot of different ideas. And so, yeah, I definitely keep 4 or 5 different stashes of business cards, that's for sure.
I applaud you by that approach and the way you explained it, because that's reciprocal. Like when you support others and you mentioned maybe just get in that room so the people have the people in the audience that they need. In your world, that works both ways. So people will come out and support you because you're supporting them, and that speaks wildly to the success of your relationships.
I mean, I've been going to community meetings for years, and part of the marketing is saying to someone else, well, I'll be there on Tuesday night.
Yeah.
You know,
and then you'll be there.
And not the person who's organizing the meeting, but someone else who might be in the audience.
Yeah.
So that's, when you get 1, it's easier to get 2. When you get 2, it's easier to get 4 people, you know?
Yeah, that's great. So we're on the third M. and basically we're talking about money. Now, in your world, that's very important. So why don't we talk about what really drives and helps drive the work that you do at the Arts Foundation?
Well, I'm keen to remind folks that nonprofit doesn't mean no money. We have to have a revenue plan. We want to, just like any business, be diversified and have public funding and private funding and restricted funding. And really also, we want to invite donors of any level, right? There's no small amount that doesn't contribute to us being able to put on public arts events and commissions too. So we're always in a position of fundraising. We always want to know about opportunities. We are also a key element because we are so visual and because we can command people's imagination, is making sure that your sponsors are visible. And that's kind of a hallmark of what I want to be known for in my tenure with the organization, is that it's easy. I wouldn't say easy, but it's easier to get 10,000 impressions on your corporate logo if it's supporting a public art, and that we've got some regional virality on our social media. So that's how I want to make sure that we take care of our partners in that regard.
All right, you brought us there, which is great. So let's talk about the fourth M. We don't have a whole lot of time, but let's talk about media as the fourth M. How important is that to what you're doing?
Media is key. It's your ability to tell your own story in your own cadence and with your own visuals, and to be able to, like I said, recognize the people that have made that possible. Strong media and organized around earned, social, video, multi, that helps bring everything together because everyone reaches you through a different channel.
That's great. Last question. Do you have a favorite M? And if so, what is it?
Definitely media. You know, I think that helps you sell your product, helps you earn the sales or confidence of others, and helps you manage as well. It helps pull everyone to a vision, realizing that was a successful event. That was a great public art installation because everyone saw it and complimented us about it.
Plus, it builds those all-important relationships, which clearly, by your answers, has intertwined into your M4 answers of the big money question.
There we go.
Thank you so much. There you have it, Michael Atkins' well-designed mix of management, marketing, money, and media. We have some more business content coming up, including another segment with today's featured guest. So stick around for more South Jersey Business with Joe Molineaux. Michael, we meet a lot of organizational leaders as well as business owners that have a strong community connection. And of course, the Atlantic City Arts Foundation has a very strong community connection. And I think it starts with the people, correct? So can you talk a little bit about that connection to the community as it relates to the people that you work with?
Well, absolutely, I would concur. I would say just one key thing is that the arts are an ingredient along with our restaurant partners, the CRDA, the CDCs, the community development corporations. We're all working on the same project. We get to work in the arts around it, but we're all working on the project of making Atlantic City better.
Now, we're going to talk about an example of that in just a minute, but before we do, I know you personally are involved with an organization in Atlantic City that actually is related to understanding the architecture and the buildings. Can you talk a little bit about how you got involved with that group?
Actually, Joe, it's a city commission.
Oh,
so
the commission.
it's a mayoral appointed position, but it's a relatively recently formed commission that exists to recognize at the city level buildings of historic character. If we recognize it at a city level with an active commission that has a certain percent number of residents of the city, of which I am also a proud resident, then it makes the site eligible for state recognition and at the state level for funding. So that's really important to me because we are working to promote redevelopment in the city of Atlantic City. Some of these pieces of cultural history are also fantastically interesting to learn, or you learn about human history that can also tie into opportunities to present that in future public art.
That's great, and I love that you're sitting at a table with people with a similar look, vision. They're understanding the city and the history and what it needs to continue to be vibrant, right? Let's stick to the people just for a second. You don't do this alone. You have staff members, of course, but you also have a board. Talk about that and the members of the community that come out to really support it in the very way that volunteer, moves people forward.
Absolutely. I mean, we we have about 175 artists in our Artist Insider list. You know, those are precious, both vendors in some sense, because we want them to work projects with us, but they're also a constituency. We want them to have opportunities. I'm really grateful to the board of the Atlantic City Arts Foundation. We have some real all-stars on there who have done tremendous things for the city in their working life, in their philanthropic life, and they just have a great heart for the organization and real desire to see it succeed. We recently hired a full-time program manager, Tina Notaro, who is an impresario in the city. She's very involved in other types of artistic projects, and we're very fortunate to have her brain power on the team full-time. So all of those are a few, but yeah, there's a broader community of people who work at the community development corporations, who support these organizations, are business partners at various restaurants or bars, et cetera. These are all really key partners, and I'll also call out Anchor Rock Club. You know, it's really key to have an independent art venue like that, and they've been hosts for our mixers in the past, which we're really grateful for.
So within the community connection, there's also a Stockton connection. You have a direct connection through your board and through one of your staff members, Stockton connection. Can you talk a little bit about that?
That's right. In addition to our staffer being a Stockton grad, we have an adjunct faculty and associate professor on our board. So those are great individuals. They can share past or current experiences because our ties to Stockton are important, because that's where we can identify emerging artists, folks who have maybe left the Arts and Humanities program. And also, I want to thank those who are at the Arts Garage, which is a very important institution in the city that does a lot of presentation of arts and artists as well, and is always open doors for community. So Stockton's doing great things. It's what we call an anchor institution in Atlantic City, and the good ship Atlantic City needs a good anchor.
Michael, how important has the community connections been, not just to this current executive directorship that you have, but in your past career and your life? How important have those community connections been for you?
They're everything. You know, your ability to go where people are who are interested in something that you share a passion for can bring you in touch with people who are like-minded, but are completely different walks of life, different religion, race, age, etc. The Historic Preservation Commission is one where we all care about preserving places in Atlantic City, but we're coming from very wildly different experiences and different age groups. So that's what I would want to encourage viewers and anyone out there, which is don't be afraid of the fact that the group might look a little bit different than you, because you might have something to contribute, and if you share the passion, you're going to find common ground.
You may have just redefined my definition for community in that statement. Thank you very much. Once again, the guests here at South Jersey Business exemplify precisely what it means to be committed to their local community. Thanks to Michael Atkins and everyone involved at the Atlantic City Arts Foundation for everything they're doing to help our community. And now it's time to shine the spotlight on Michael Atkins and gain some extra illumination on exactly what the Atlantic City Arts Foundation offers and brings to the community right here in South Jersey. Michael, can you talk a little bit about what it is that the Arts Foundation does?
Simply put, we promote public arts in Atlantic City. We advance opportunities for artists, and we invite the public to enjoy and appreciate artistic creativity in large and small scale public events.
That's a tall order, so let's get into the how that gets done. It's not just a one-man show, right? You have people around you, but how does that work get done?
Well, we enjoy the support of the community development corporations. The board of the Atlantic City Arts Foundation is a superb group of individuals tied to Stockton and to other philanthropic endeavors and to development interests and to city government. We also have support from CRDA, Casino Reinvestment Development Authority, which we are grateful for. They understand how arts and beautification, advance public safety, attract people to the city and ensure that they feel comfortable experiencing the city. And community foundations as well. We're supported by a number of them.
Yeah, I believe in all that. That's good stuff. So then the next piece would be who you do it for. Who is the audience? I know you have multiple people that benefit from this, but who is the target audience? Who is the audience for the programs?
Well, the core audience are the artists that we're working with. Again, to have a career in the arts, you need a few breaks, and we're here to make sure that our artists are being paid a fair wage, that they are enough opportunities, that we can go out and fundraise for them to have opportunities to do artistic installations. So emerging and established artists. The next rung out would be the residents of Atlantic City, people who live there day in and day out and deserve to live in a city that looks beautiful. As we continue to expand out, that's where our role as a major city in South Jersey becomes a regional opportunity for people to experience our city, to have access to the arts. Because we are a city in a metropolitan area, people do make their way to Atlantic City to see a show, to go to a restaurant, et cetera. And we hope to continue to install opportunities for people to experience arts into that.
Yeah, if you can get world-class dining and world-class gaming and world-class beaches, why wouldn't you expect world-class art?
I'd say precisely.
I like that. Plus, the international visitor is also key to that. So really, you do have an area that you get a lot of eyes on the art that's done.
Well, that's the beauty of visual art as well, is that you don't necessarily need to speak 3 languages, or if you're a foreign visitor, you can still enjoy or appreciate or begin to analyze or understand yourself something that's just a visual. So that's, again, where a public art mural program is really advantageous to all forms of tourism.
Can you just briefly tell me the why part of this? What drives you? I know it's a little reflective, but what gets you up in the morning every day and you say, I'm going to work on this program, these programs, this job? Tell me about the why.
Well, what I'm about to say is true for many, many other people as well, which is when you have a creative spirit and a curiosity, you don't necessarily really control it. You can't really help yourself. So, I'm passionate about the arts. I'm passionate about Atlantic City and cities in general, and I love being from New Jersey and living in New Jersey. This is a great place to build community, and I'm grateful for this opportunity to be in this job because there is already such an exciting arts ecosystem that anyone who's been attending our events or visiting the city of Atlantic City can already tell is in place, and we're just trying to grow that just a little bit further.
You have a vision, clearly, and you have a future. I know you wanted to talk about some of the things that are upcoming. There's a lot on the horizon. Can you just briefly go through a few of the things that are upcoming that we can look forward to?
Yeah. This year we'll be planning to refurbish 6 murals, install 2 new murals. A key ability for us is to plug into shoulder season and celebrate local summer with those who are year-round residents. And so we've got a lot of those types of projects coming up. We'll be hosting an art terriers as well at the end of the year. That's typically a November, December event. So I just invite anyone viewing to make sure to go online, sign up for our newsletter, go on social media, follow us there. We'll continually promote opportunities to either apply for opportunities as an artist or to attend and experience a public art event or installation.
And I would also add to encourage people to continue to support the arts, not just in Atlantic City, but the arts all over.
Well, I'll make that play. I'll take that opportunity, which is if you appreciate the arts, we are a fantastic organization to support financially as well. I'm currently inviting folks to consider a monthly donation program. So if you've been inspired by what we've been talking about today, get in touch, email me, write us, come to an event, but consider giving to our cause because it will help artists and help the city of Atlantic City.
I want to thank you personally, Michael, for the work you do, and the team does, but also for allowing us to turn the spotlight on the Atlantic City Arts Foundation.
My pleasure.
That was today's Spotlight, providing a clear view of what Michael Atkins and the Atlantic City Arts Foundation is all about. We'll be right back. Well, that's the show. We had a solid business discussion with Michael Atkins, Executive Director of the Atlantic City Arts Foundation. Once again, thank you to Stockton University and everyone that makes this program possible. Let's do it again next week. And until then, let's get growing, South Jersey. Thanks for watching.